Conservation of plants and animals. The term conservation of environment relates to all activities which can provide individual or commercial benefits, but at the same time prevent excessive use of resources of environment which can cause damage to our environment. Ecosystem. A community of organisms consisting of producers, consumers, and decomposers interacting with one another and with the environment constitutes an ecosystem. Example, a pond, a forest, or a seashore. The relationship among species in an ecosystem are usually complex and finely balanced, and removal of any one species may be disastrous. For example, if all lions are removed from the jungle, the deer population will increase to such a large extent that they will damage the entire jungle ecosystem due to overgrazing. In an ecosystem, both energy and nutrients flow through a food chain. Biodiversity, flora and fauna. Biodiversity or biological diversity is the measure of the variety of the Earth's animal, plant, and microbial species. Maintenance of biodiversity is important for ecological stability and as a resource for research into new drugs and crops. Monoculture cropping system, overgrazing by animals, deforestation and pollution of land and water are some of the factors which has led to the loss of biodiversity. Flora and fauna. The plants and animals found in a particular area are termed flora and fauna of that area. Sal, teak, mango, jamun, silver ferns, arjun, etc. are the flora, and chinkara, blue bull, barking deer, black bear, cheetal, leopard, wild dog, wolf, etc. are examples of the fauna of the Panchmari Biosphere Reserve in Madhya Pradesh. Major threats to biodiversity. Deforestation. The cutting of trees at large scale is called as deforestation. Forests are cut for many reasons without planting new trees to replace those lost trees. Causes of deforestation. Large-scale deforestation is done to fulfill the following aims: to get wood for timber and fuel, to procure land for agricultural use, to produce land for building houses and factories. Consequences of deforestation. It increases the temperature and pollution level on the earth. It decreases the level of oxygen and increases the level of carbon dioxide. It reduces the rainfall and fertility of the soil. Wildlife. The term wildlife includes any undomesticated organism living in their wild or natural habitat. This term is sometimes restricted to wild animals excluding plants. Wildlife species at the stage of extinction. International Union of the Conservation of Nature (IUCN) was established by the United Nations to promote the conservation of wildlife and habitats as part of the national policies of member states. It has identified the various species of plants and animals which are under the possible threat of becoming extinct in the near future if they are not protected. It has categorized these species into three broad groups: endangered species, vulnerable species, rare species. Endangered species. These are those plants or animal species whose number are so few that they are at risk of becoming extinct. An example of an endangered species is Javan rhinoceros. Vulnerable species. These are those species whose number is declining, and if not protected, they can become endangered species. Example, many varieties of deer such as musk deer, sambar deer, spotted deer and black buck belong to the category of vulnerable species. Rare species. As the name suggests, it includes all those species whose population in the world is very small. If not protected, then these species may fall into the category of vulnerable or endangered species. Example, Indian elephant, wild buffalo, Bengal fox, marbled cat, and gaur belong to rare species. Endemic species. The species of plants and animals which are found only in a particular area and are not naturally found anywhere else are known as endemic species. Some of the endemic species of Panchmari Biosphere Reserve, Madhya Pradesh, are sal and wild mango, which are two examples of the endemic flora, while bison, Indian giant squirrel, and flying squirrels are some of the fauna endemic to this area. Extinction of species and threatened species. Extinction means the complete disappearance of a species. Many of the species, such as dodo of Mauritius, became extinct because of hunting, while many others became extinct when their habitat was destroyed. Threatened species are those who require immediate protection and conservation so that they do not fall under the category of rare, vulnerable, or endangered species. Threatened and protected species of Indian wildlife. Gharial, python, snow leopard, peafowl, musk deer. Causes of extinction of wildlife. Wildlife is getting extinct due to the following reasons: indiscriminate cutting of forests, killing of animals for food, pleasure, skin, and hide, illegal trade of plant and animal products, large-scale mining and raising of huge buildings and dams. Protected areas for Indian wildlife. Under the Wildlife Protection Act, a large number of sanctuaries, national parks, and biosphere reserve have been identified and established in different parts of the country. Let us know about these protected areas. Wildlife sanctuaries. A sanctuary is an area where killing or capturing of any species of wild animals is prohibited. In sanctuaries, natural habitat of an organism is not disturbed. Indian wildlife sanctuaries have unique landscapes which include huge forests, maintained forests, bushlands in deltas of big rivers, and most area covered by these landscapes. These sanctuaries protect some of the threatened wild animals such as black buck, Indian elephant, pink-headed duck, gharial, python, one-horned rhinoceros, marsh crocodile, golden cat, white-eyed buck, etc. At present, there are more than 550 sanctuaries in India. National parks. A national park is an area of land that is protected by the government to conserve the wildlife. The area may be protected because of its natural beauty, historical or scientific interest. In national parks, animals can use freely the habitats and natural resources. At present, there are more than 102 national parks in India. Biosphere Reserve. These are meant for conserving biodiversity. They include protected areas and surrounding lands that are managed to combine both conservation and sustainable use of natural resources. In these areas, conservation of wildlife, plant, and animal resources is done along with the traditional life of the tribal life form living in that area. Thus, a biosphere reserve includes much larger area than sanctuary or a national park. At present, 18 biosphere reserves are identified in our country. Project Tiger. The Project Tiger was launched in 1st April 1973 by our government to protect the tigers of our country. The objective of this project was to ensure the maintenance of a viable population of tigers in our country. This project was initiated because the tiger population in our country reduced drastically to 1,800 in 1972, which was initially more than 50,000. Migration. It is the movement which may be either seasonal or as part of a single life cycle of certain animals, mainly seen in birds and fish, due to which they move to distant breeding or feeding grounds. Birds migrate due to the following reasons. Climatic changes when climatic conditions are adverse. For laying eggs at safer places, to find areas which can take care of their feeding and breeding. Major steps to save and protect our biodiversity and wildlife. Recycling of paper. Recycling is the process of collecting wastes, material that are left over after something has been produced or used, to regain materials in order to use them again. Recycling helps in 3 ways. It saves expenditure on scarce raw material. It slows down the depletion of non-renewable resources. It helps in reducing pollution. Reforestation. Forests can be replenished by planting more trees and cutting less of forest trees. Forest trees help in bringing sufficient rainfall on the earth. There are many advantages of replenishing forests, such as trees transpire large amount of water which help in the formation of rain clouds. Trees help in preventing soil erosion by keeping the topsoil intact. Trees help in lowering atmospheric temperature and also in purifying the air.